Other kitties in there. Is it loading? Yes, it is. Did you guys see him? Maria, Stony Stone. Hi, did you guys see the kittens? Did you see the kittens? Yoo-hoo! Did you see him? Hi, Stony. Hi, Maria G. Hi, Mom Michelle. Thank you for coming over. Whoops. Do I even have the volume up? Oh, I didn't have the volume up. All right. Can you guys hear me now? I had the volume down. Hi, you saw them? Did I get them okay? Aren't they funny? I asked the lady what would be safe. What cute little fur balls. I know they're really, really soft. I held one up to my face in case it prickled. They were really going wild. By the time I got my camera going, they were slowing down just a little. Hi, can hear me now. I know I had the volume down. Good grief. They're adorable. Those balls were only like $1.59 a piece. Yeah. You think she's going to nurse him? Oh my gosh, so funny. How is everyone today? I went to the store. Hi, Shelly Seashells. Hi, Linda Smith. Hi, everyone. All right. Are you wanting to go to your room? I'm going to turn the camera off. My daughter doesn't want to be shown on live, not TV, but I think we're getting a Maine Coon or something like that. The mama kitty's a Maine Coon, Stony. All right. I'm going to turn the camera off real quick. All right. Yeah, it's just going that way. It's all right, hon. You can turn that lamp off if you want. Okay, then. want to talk some mystery today? All right. Hello. Oh, hi, Becky. Hi. Hi, Aussie True Crime. I have another 30 minutes. You have another 30 minutes before sleep. What does that mean? Sleep where? Sleep what? Or are you talking to someone else? I'm behind just washing school uniform. Oh, they have to wear uniforms? Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming in here. Hi, Deetra. It's a full-size one. We'll get like 50 plus pounds. Yeah, and they're not full grown, Stony, until they're 7 years old. They're not considered an adult till they're 7. Adult or full grown. Now I can't remember. Oh, you're talking to Maria. That makes sense. Thanks everyone for coming over. I hope you're I saw your thing, Becky. Your Becky Wicked sticker tent thing. That's really cool. I hope you sold a lot of stuff. And it looks like you had nice weather, I think. All right, well, I was just going to film the kittens and then do some mystery later, but you guys are all here, so I'll just do it now. Let me know if Jimmy goes live. I always say that. The kittens are meowing like mad. Oh, she's out now. Oh my gosh, he has it in his mouth. The little black one put the ball in his mouth and was going like this, shaking it around like a dog would. Wow. All right, let me, I'm sorry, I'm not very prepared. I'm trying to get my history. Now I have it. Okay. Yeah, so Becky, just to let you know, I tried to find some dewormer. They didn't have anything at the store I go to, Fred Meyer. So I went across the street to Mud Bay, which is a real pet store, and they only had medicine for roundworms only. And the kittens have to be, well, for that anyway, at least 3 pounds. And they're certainly not, right? So the lady there said not all kittens are born with worms. Most are. But hi FGTEEV. Hi you guys. Hi Sidekick, Undercover Mermaid. Hi everybody. Thank you so much. Anyway, so I'm gonna get my trust fund in January and just do it then. She said keep an eye out on the mother for kind of worms or something. I've only ever seen like tapeworms from when they get fleas real bad, you know. But my cats, they're indoor, right? They haven't had fleas, any of them, in about 6 years. Now, before that, every now and then they'd get them because I was walking that pug dog to the AA hall and helping take care of it, feed it, let it come over and all this. And if he had fleas, then I had to treat my 3 cats. I had 3 cats then. Yeah, I don't think it hurts to wait a little while. Yeah. Okay, so here we are at the 50 famous unsolved mysteries that are spooky. And I'm kind of having fun with this because it's not all just now. There are definitely some in here like the Jean Bonnet, D.B. Cooper, but other people have covered these. The Zodiac Killer. I already covered this one. The Black Dahlia. I didn't know it was so horrific. If things get too graphic, I'll let my daughter know. Well, she likes to play scary games, but it's not the same thing as hearing what really happens to real people in the past type deal. So how is everyone on this Sunday? It's very nice here in Washington. Kind of a coolish breeze, but warm. Okay, I talked about the Chicago Tylenol murders. They never found the person that did that. And then the unsolved Hinterkaifeck murders. And that's what I brought up last night, Stony, when you were on Jimmy's. That was the name of it. The murders on that farm. So scary. The Ghost of Mary Celeste. And now we are at Tupac is even in here. I don't know. The Watcher House. Was that the last one we did? No. The Mystery of the Circleville Letters. We did that one yesterday. Okay, the Sodder children disappearance. Those were the ones in the fire, but they believe they were kidnapped. I mean, why would these people just make these stories up, right? Paper cut. Did you hear Leslie Hill died from the Summer Wells case? Okay, who is Leslie Hill? That's that's a man, right? Leslie is a man, and he lived up near them. He's the father of what's his face Hill? Hi, Kathy. What he died from? That's good to know. Does anyone know what I mean, like, please tell me it's not murder. You know what I mean? I'm doubting it, but you know. Hi, Truth Seeker. Okay, Stony, no. Okay. Did he die recent, Stony? What? Suzanne Summers died today? She was roughly, what, 72 years old? What did she die from? Wait, she was dealing with breast cancer, wasn't she, for a while, but then was better? Good grief. Gosh. Hi, Janine. Aw, thank you. Oh, 76. Truth Seeker. My mom's 71. My mom's 82. And now she's got to watch for strokes. Hi, Justice Jane. It's quiet over here. Did they, they're all nursing. No. No, not at all. No. You can only see the top of the plant in the corner of the blue robe. That's it. When you want to leave, just let me know. There we go. Okay, so, oh gosh. So I'm looking, I asked those questions, I better at least wait for the answers here. Does any... No, Allison's buddy Leslie is a lady. Oh. I don't know who Allison is. Becky, my mom's 86. Maria G, my mom, 73. Oh. Wow. How is everyone? I'm good. I went to bed at 5 in the morning. Slept till 10 though. Went to the store, got my toiletries, needed to get more stuff for the guinea pig. I needed alfalfa. I needed grass. I needed guinea pig food. Luckily, I didn't need cat meat because a box of that stuff is $30. All right, so, okay, so the Axemen of New Orleans, I talked about that yesterday. Now, this is the one where, well, I already talked about it. It's the death of the boy in the box. That was the very first one, I believe, I talked about. So I'm not going to go over that. It's back in 1957, a boy found in a box. A very sad, scary, I think, story. And he's never gotten justice. So, and we've all heard the next one here, number 18, the mysterious drowning of Natalie Wood. It's a good picture of her. I always thought she was one of the most beautiful women in the world. That's just my personal feeling. It's probably her dark, dark eyes. But I think he has some guilt. I mean, he was there. He was angry. He was jealous that she was, I don't know if she was having an affair with that Christopher Walken, her co-star, or what, but you know, maybe he didn't mean to kill her, right? Maybe he just was enraged and pushed her. I don't know. He should have tried to rescue her, but I don't know. So I'm not going to talk about that. Been gone for 4 years now. Who's that? Becky says he killed Natalie. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know if it was like, because they were all drinking, was it wine or something? But sad, right? Because she was petrified of the water. And she was only in her 30s, wasn't she? Or was it early 40s? Might have been 40s. Oh, no affair. Christopher was just their friend. Yeah. They definitely liked each other, though. And I think the stuff that I've read, right? And I think he sensed that. But yeah, that doesn't mean they're having an affair. All right, so I'm not going to read about, oh, it says everyone on the boat, including the captain, had been drinking for much of the weekend. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he. All right, so number 19. I don't think you want to hear about these murders and cabins and stuff, do you? Are you okay with that? As you play scary games? Yeah. You're fine. It's straight this way, huh? Sorry. All right. She saw the kittens quite a bit. All right, this is the Keddie cabin murders. Is this YouTube? Did I do the destination of YouTube, you guys? This has to be YouTube. Yeah, it is YouTube. What a dumb question. Okay, it's Facebook. I didn't do two destinations today. Of course, this is YouTube. The Keddie Cabin Murders. On April 12, 1981, in Keddie, California, the Sharp family and some friends went to sleep inside Cabin 28 at the Keddie Resort Lodge. Sheila Sharp would wake up to find her mother, Sue, her brother Johnny, and their family friend Dana Wingate brutally murdered inside the cabin, while her 12-year-old sister Tina was missing from the scene. Sheila only escaped the murders by sleeping at a friend's cabin next door. Surprisingly, they found Sheila's two younger brothers, Greg and Rick, and their friend Justin Smart asleep in another bedroom inside Cabin 28 and safe. Tina's remains would be found by an anonymous tip on the 3rd anniversary of the murders. Gosh. Her skull was, trigger warning, her skull was found 50 miles away from Keddie in a different county. Wow. Sidekick says, I thought Leslie was Allie's mom. Oh, is she? Not with the last name Hill, though, right? When I hear Hill, I think of Frank Hill, right? Isn't there a Frank Hill up there? Chris McDonald interviewed them on Allison's porch, member of one that can't stand Candace or Grandis. Oh, okay. Is she the, okay, I don't know how to put this nicely, but Allie's a big woman, BBW, right? Big, beautiful woman. The next lady down, wait, that was Allie's, yeah, that was Allie's mom. Is that who we're talking about? Allie's mom. Hi, Michael Blade. Thank you guys for coming over. Is Dumpling doing a live right now? I should have checked. Someone let me know if Dumpling's live. I'm kind of doubting it, but you never know. Hi, Sidekick. I think I already said hello. All right. Wow. That's depressing. There were only two suspects that the police examined, Marty Smart and his roommate, Bo Bubede. Marty Smart was married to Marilyn Smart, and they were parents to Justin Smart. Marty was apparently an abusive husband. Since Sheila Sharp had just escaped an abusive relationship herself, there were reports that she was giving Marilyn some counseling. Okay. So Sheila was married to this man, I believe, or involved or something at one point, and was counseling Marilyn. When Marty found out that Sheila was interfering in his marriage, he reportedly went ballistic. Soon after the murders, Marty left Keddie for Reno, Nevada. Law enforcement felt that the murders took more than one person to conduct, which is why they took Bubede into questioning as an accomplice. Bubede was also an ex-con. You know, why do they have to, like, I mean, I'd rather be, you know what, than STA than stabbed. Despite there being so much more to the case, the investigation oddly stopped there. There was evidence that seemingly went unnoticed and people of interest that were not examined properly. The murderer of the Keddie crime has not been identified and the case remains unsolved. Wow. Wow. All right. Sidekick knows she interviewed with her on the Chris McDonough interview show, and Allison and her there work together. I can't believe you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Just pay attention later on. I'm going to be bringing it to people because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I just heard it, not sure. So it just happened, maybe? Hi, TLC. Hi, Angie. Next time I see Becky Backroad, I'm going to literally thank her. I went ahead down to my lives. She kept saying, and she was, hi, Darzilla. She said, I have to swipe the comments. But on my iPad, you've got to push and do it pretty hard. And you've got to go one direction, not, And I did it. And lo and behold, there it was, the comments from the chat. And I thought it was in my settings. And I've been wondering now for over 3 weeks. So she kept putting that in there. And so I did it again. Are you going potty? All right. Hi, Angie. Hi, Tattooed Rebel. Hi. I forgot you had a bonfire on, or it's the concert. Which concert is it? American concert. You did you did CCR yesterday. What concert is it today? Roasting. I get warm because I'm down here. Hi, Janae. Thanks, you guys. Wow, there's quite a few of you over here. Jimmy must not be on. Oh, Patriotic One. That sounds like a good band. What was I going to say now? Oh, and is Dumplin live right now? Does anybody know? Because when she's live, people are busy. Put it that way. All right, number 20. Yeah, so you guys go over and watch The Bonfire. That's on in 25 minutes because the thing was posted at the 30 mark. At Tattooed Rebel 2229. He does some really good concerts. He did Creedence Clearwater Revival yesterday. No, she's not live. Oh, thank you, Darzilla. Thank you. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. Can't wait till the cat covers that up. Just a minute here. God, you guys, I can't wait till I don't have to have a litter box in my bedroom. I mean, it's not bad. She's still pretty small, a year old. Rarely even does any stools in there, but that was, Jiminy Christmas. Okay. Oh my God. Never know what's going to happen on a live. Hey, Team Rose. Hey. Hey, I want to say right here, at least this much publicly, is I watched back, Dolly and PJ's 3 hour thing with their merch yesterday. And PJ said that I brought up the crown for a woman that wins the Turtle Island. And it wasn't me, it was your idea. And I know I told someone about the idea and never said it was my idea. But anyway, I don't want you to think I'm trying to take credit for something that was your idea. But Jimmy liked the idea. He said, yeah, maybe we can do that or whatever. So he said, whose idea was that or something? And PJ said, Paper Cut Tina. It was your idea. So at least some of you guys know that. Oh, hi, Just Chillin'. Is Tidal Island. I'm sorry, you meant to say Turtle. Oh, that's tonight, you guys. That's tonight. It'll be, he says it's usually 10:30, doesn't he? Eastern time. So that's, 7-ish. Wait, yeah, 7:30 my time. Yeah, whoops. I didn't mean to hit on that, but it's fine that I did. Okay, so where's Wolf? My weekend could be better. Where is there? Wolf is in here? Oh, I did miss some names. Art Go Show. Hi, thank you for supporting all the time like you do, and everyone else. Misty Dawn. Hi. I'm glad I went back a little bit. Oh, Wolf is FGTEEV Wolf. Oh my gosh, I never even hardly noticed that part because I'm always typing in. All right, so this is number 20, the Gardner Museum heist. On March 18, 1990, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston fell victim to one of the greatest art thefts in history. Only 13 pieces of art were stolen, but with the combined value of all those paintings, it was worth $500 million. Wow, you guys. 13 pieces of art equaled $500 million. Does someone want to divide that? I don't. I'm terrible at math. I hate math. On the night of the heist, 2 inexperienced guards were on duty. One of them was named Richard E. Abath, who was a music school dropout and part of a rock band. By his own admission, he confessed that he would come to work drunk or stoned after a performance. Still, he insisted he was sober the night of the robbery. At 12:54 a.m., a fire alarm went off on the 3rd floor of the museum. When Abath went to go investigate, there was no fire. Whether this was part of the thieves' scheme is unknown. At 1:24 a.m., 2 men dressed as Boston police buzzed the security desk where Abath was stationed. The men said that they were responding to a disturbance call and demanded entry. Wow. St. Patrick's Day parties were happening around the city, so the disturbance call made sense to Abath. The guard buzzed the men into the employee entrance, which violated museum protocol. Then, when the men reached Abath behind the desk, one of them said, "You look familiar. I think we have a default warrant out for you. Come out here and show us some identification." Abath was tricked to leave his control desk, which had the only button that would trigger a silent alarm. He was then instructed to face the wall and was handcuffed. The second guard then appeared and he was also arrested. When the second guard asked why he was being arrested, one of the men replied, "You're not being arrested. This is a robbery. Don't give us any problems and you won't get hurt." Weird. I just can't answer that one. I'm looking back and I don't even know what I asked. Okay, gee. An hour and 21 minutes later, the thieves made out with 13 timeless works of art. They cut Rembrandt's Christ in the Storm on the Sea of Galilee and a Lady and Gentleman in Black from their frames. Removed Vermeer's The Concert and Flink's Landscape with an obelisk from their frames. Pulled an ancient Chinese bronze GU or beaker from a table and took a small self-portrait etching by Rembrandt from the side of the chest. In the museum today, empty frames now stand where the paintings were hung as a remembrance. The thieves have yet to be caught, and the location of the art pieces is still unknown. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum has set a $10 million reward for information leading to the recovery of the stolen works. Wow. I mean, they had their shears and everything, right? Rebel, didn't you talk about Jimmy Hoffa once? I don't know if I want to talk about that. Most people know. I'm just going to pass over it. I don't know all the ins and outs, but we'll do some ones maybe people haven't heard of. The 8-day bride. Oh, you did tattooed. I thought you did. Okay, the 8-day bride. On May 20, 1947, the body of 22-year-old Christina Kettlewell was found 150 feet away from her honeymoon cottage in just 9 inches of water on the banks of a river in Severn Falls, Ontario. Just 8 days prior, on May 12th, Christina had eloped with 26-year-old war veteran John Ray Jack Ketterwell. After knowing each other for 3 years, Jack had a friend named Ronald Berry, who was a 28-year-old immigrant from Italy who was a professional ballroom dancer. It was reported that Jack, Christina, and Ronald spent an inordinate amount of time together. Christina's family even thought that Ronald was in love with Christina. Well, I wouldn't be surprised for spending that much time. Following the elopement, the newlywed Ketterwells spent the next few days at a rented apartment in Toronto. Bizarrely, Ronald joined them for the entirety of their honeymoon, and on May 17, the trio headed to Ronald's remote cottage in Severn Falls, which was only accessible by boat. During that time, it was reported that Christina began to act out of character. She would go into crying fits and at other times seemed dazed. Evidence suggests that Christina had conversations with Ronald about whether or not Jack truly loved her. On May 20, Christina disappeared and Ronald's cabin mysteriously caught on fire. Hi, Mel. Hi, Tammy. Thanks for coming over, ladies. Ronald returned to the cabin to find a disoriented Jack sitting in the cabin with an apparent head injury and pulled him out of the flames. It was then reported he looked for Christina but couldn't find her anywhere in the cottage. Ronald then said that the cottage burned down in just an hour. He then took Jack into the boat back to the mainland of Severn Falls, took his friend to the hospital, and then contacted the police. Wow. It was then that the situation became worse. Later, Christina's body was found by an owner of a boathouse in the area. Her body was free from burns or any signs of violence. An autopsy found traces of codeine in her stomach, but her ultimate cause of death was declared a drowning. Interestingly enough, Major Lawrence Scarfield, who acted as a first responder to the fire, reported that he saw no signs of Christina's body in the area when he went to go get water to help extinguish the flames from the house just hours earlier. Jack, Ronald, and 20 other people were questioned by police, and despite possible theories, including that Christina committed suicide, this case remains unsolved. Wow. Okay. The creepy murder in room 1046. On January 22nd, 1935, a man calling himself Roland T. Owen checked into the hotel president in Kansas City, Missouri. He showed up with no luggage. He was described as being 20 to 35 years old, had brown hair, a scar on his scalp visible above the ear, and a case of cauliflower ear. He was nicely dressed in a black coat and received the room key for room 1046. When the maid, Mary Soptic, said Owen allowed her to clean while he was in the room, but asked not to lock the door behind her because his friend was about to visit the room very soon. Soptic said he kept the blinds tightly drawn and the lights off, with the exception of one dim lamp. Other staff members who entered the room mentioned that same detail. Soptic also mentioned that Owen was either worried about something or afraid, and always wanted to kind of keep in the dark. Yeah, maybe he was like an informant person, right? Or he thought he was signing up for, who knows, a hit? I don't know. And then they, At 4 p.m., Soptic returned with fresh towels to find Owen laying on the bed, completely dressed, in the dark with the door unlocked. She also saw a note that read, "Dawn, I will be back in 15 minutes. Wait." The next morning, January 3rd, Soptic came back to clean the room. She noticed that the door had been locked from the outside and assumed Owen had locked it while he was leaving the room. However, Owen was sitting inside, again with the lights off, which meant that someone else had locked the door from outside the room. When Soptic was cleaning, Owen answered a telephone call and said, "No, Dawn, I don't want to eat. I am not hungry. I just had breakfast," repeating, "No, I am not hungry." Soptic again arrived later that evening to bring fresh towels, heard two male voices coming from inside the room. When she knocked on the door, she heard a rough voice say, "Who is it?" When she explained that she had fresh towels, the voice replied, "We don't need any." Yikes. During the night, a woman staying in room 1048 would report hearing loud voices, both male and female, cursing on the same floor. There was a party going on that night in room 1055. The next morning, January 4th, around 7 a.m., the hotel switchboard operator noticed that Owen's phone was off the hook for quite some time without being in use, so she sent the bellboy, Randolph Provost, to go see what was up. Despite the door having a "Do Not Disturb" sign, Provost knocked several times, heard a voice that said, "Come in, turn on the lights." However, the door was locked and no one was getting up to let the bellboy in. So after knocking repeatedly, Provost simply said, "Put the phone back on the hook," assuming that Owen was drunk. About an hour and a half later, at around 8:30 a.m., the phone was still off the hook, and another bellboy, Harold Pike, let himself into the room with a pass key. Using only the light from the hall, Pike discovered Owen lying on the bed, naked and assumedly drunk. He also noticed that the bedding was darkened around Owen. The phone stand was kicked down to the ground, so he fixed it and put the phone back into the receiver. Hi, Regina. Hello. From 10:30 to 10:45 a.m., the phone was once again off the receiver. They sent Proppus to resolve the situation, and when he opened the door, he saw a truly horrific scene. Proppus told the police, "When I entered the room, trigger warning. When I entered the room, this man was within 2 feet of the door, on his knees and elbows, holding his head in his hands. I saw blood on his head. I then turned the light on. I looked around and saw blood on the walls, on the bed, and in the bathroom. This frightened me, and I immediately left the room and went downstairs. Owen had been bound with a cord around his neck, wrists, and ankles. His neck had bruising, suggesting someone had been attempting to strangle him. He had been stabbed more than once in the chest above the heart, and one of the wounds had punctured his lung. Blows to his head had left him with a skull fracture on the right side. In addition to the blood Props had seen, there was some additional spatter on the ceiling. Gosh sakes. And this was in the 40s, I think. Didn't I say 1947 or something? Dr. Flanders cut the cords from Owen's wrist and asked him who had done this to him. Nobody, he answered. When then asked what had caused these injuries, Owen said he had fallen and hit his head on the bathtub. The doctor asked if he had been trying to kill himself. After saying no, Owen lost consciousness and was taken to the hospital. He was completely comatose by the time he arrived and died shortly after midnight on January 5th. Although Owen's true identity was revealed a year and a half later as Artemis Ogletree, no suspects have ever been identified. The Kansas City police continue to investigate. That's really sad. That's sad. I'm going to type in Artemis Ogletree. They say he was born in Florida in 1915, one of 3 children. During his childhood, an accident with some hot grease left a sizable scar on his head above his ear, which remained hairless. So that was 1935, not 1947. The case of Artemis Ogletree still remains one of the most baffling mysteries to this day. Wow. Okay, icky. What happened? Oh.
floors up. This would be the start of a strange sequence of events that would ultimately lead to the discovery of a secret identity and to death. Roland had no luggage with him. He only had a hairbrush, comb and toothpaste in his pocket, and was described as a man between the ages of 20 and 35. He had brown hair, was wearing a nice black coat, and had a scar on his head visible above the ear. He also had a case of cauliflower ear. Cauliflower ear is the result of a direct blow to the outer ear. Blood or other fluids fill the space in between and disrupts normal blood flow. Common causes include injuries from sports, such as wrestling, boxing, rugby or mixed martial arts.
Rebel.
He was booked into room 1046. Mary Soptic, who was a maid at the hotel, said that Roland allowed her to clean while he was in the room, but he asked her not to lock the door behind her, because he was waiting for a friend who would arrive shortly. Mary said that Roland kept the blinds tightly drawn, and the lights off with the exception of one dim lamp.
Hi, Ash.
Other staff members who entered
Thank
room
you for coming
1046 mentioned the same detail. Mary mentioned that Roland was either worried about something or afraid, and he always wanted to keep in the dark. At 4 p.m. Mary returned with fresh towels to find Roland laying on the bed. He was completely dressed, and in the dark, with the door still unlocked. Mary also noticed a note that read, "Dawn, I will be back in 15 minutes. Wait." On the following day, the 3rd of January, Mary came back to clean the room again. Mary noticed that the door had been locked from the outside, and assumed Roland had locked it after he left. Once she entered the room, she however saw Roland sitting inside. The lights were still off. This means that someone else had locked the door from the outside. While Mary was in the room cleaning, Roland answered a call and said, "No, Dawn, I don't want to eat. I am not hungry. I just had breakfast," repeating, "No, I am not hungry." Still holding the phone, Roland asked Mary about her job as she cleaned. He wanted to know if she was responsible for the entire floor and if the president was residential. Mary left and only returned later that evening to bring fresh towels. She heard 2 male voices coming from inside the room. When she knocked on the door, she heard a loud, deep voice say, "Who is it?" When she explained that she had fresh towels, the voice replied, "We don't need any." Mary knew there were no towels in the room, as she had taken them herself in the morning. Mary left, but later that night, a woman staying in room 1048 would report hearing loud voices, both male and female, cursing on the same floor. There was, however, a party going on that night in room 1055, so whether this detail is relevant or not is unclear. On the morning of the 4th of January, a new switchboard operator named Della Ferguson came on shift at about 7 a.m. She noticed that Roland's phone was off the hook for quite some time without being used. She then sent a bellboy named Randolph Probst to go check up on Roland and see what is happening. When Randolph arrived at room 1046, he noticed it had a "Do Not Disturb" sign on the door.
With money for the
Despite
kitties,
this,
because
Randolph knocked several
this is
times
the last
and heard
year
a
for the
voice
guinea
that
pig
said,
for
"Come in.
one.
Turn on the lights."
And
However,
I'll
the door
honestly
was
have an
locked,
extra
and no one was getting up to
$100
let the bellboy
per
in.
month.
So, after knocking repeatedly,
Easily.
Probst simply said, "Put the phone back on the hook." Randolph told Della that the guest was drunk and that they should wait another hour. At around 8:30 a.m., about an hour and a half after Randolph was at room 1046, the phone was still off the hook and another bellboy, Harold Pike, was sent to investigate. He let himself into the room with a passkey that he had. Using only the light from the hall, Pike discovered Roland lying on the bed naked and assumedly drunk. He also noticed that the bedding was darkened around Roland. The phone stand was kicked down to the ground,
Let's
so
not
he fixed
discuss
it and put
mods,
the
you
phone back
guys.
into the
It's too
receiver.
much of a
Strangely enough, from 10:30 to
personal
10:45 a.m.,
thing.
the phone was once again off the receiver.
Hi, Tony.
Randolph was sent to room 1046 to resolve the situation. As soon as he opened the door, he was shocked. On the floor in front of him was the motionless body of Roland. Randolph would later tell the police, "When I entered the room, this man was within 2 feet of the door on his knees and elbows, holding his head in his hands. I saw blood on his head. I then turned the light on. I looked around and saw blood on the walls, on the bed, and in the bathroom. This frightened me, and I immediately left the room and went downstairs." Randolph went downstairs immediately for help. He returned with the assistant manager of the hotel, but when they tried to enter the room, the door could only open 6 inches, 15 centimeters, as Roland had in the interim fallen on the floor. Eventually Roland got up, and when the 2 hotel employees were able to enter the room, he went and sat on the edge of the bathtub. The assistant manager called the police. They were joined by Dr. Harold Flanders of Kansas City General Hospital. Arnold had been bound with a cord around his neck, wrists, and ankles. His neck had bruising, suggesting someone had been attempting to strangle him. He had been stabbed more than once in the chest above the heart, and one of the wounds had punctured his lung. Blows to his head had left him with a skull fracture on the right side. In addition to the blood Randolph had seen, there was some additional splatter on the ceiling. Dr. Flanders cut the cords from Roland's wrist and asked him who had done this to him. Nobody, he answered. The doctor then asked Roland what had caused these injuries. He said he had fallen and hit his head on the bathtub. The doctor asked if he had been trying to kill himself. Roland denied trying to take his own life, and shortly afterwards he lost consciousness and was taken to the hospital. He was completely comatose by the time he arrived and died shortly after midnight on January 5, 1935. Doctors performed an autopsy on Roland and determined he had died from his wounds. Dr. Flanders had examined not just the body, but the bloodstains in the room. Since much of it had dried by the time he had arrived, he estimated the wounds had been inflicted between 4 and 5 a.m. that day, consistent with what the bellboys had seen. Detectives searching room 1046 took note as much of what they did not find as what they did. There were no clothes in the closets or drawers. The only evidence of anything other than what Roland had been wearing was the tag of the necktie, indicating it had been made by a New Jersey company. The room also had none of the standard issued soap, shampoo, and towels that the hotel provided to every room. There were no knives, which led to the dismissal of suicide as a cause of Roland's death, since the stab wounds in his chest could not be accounted for. The cords tying him up also suggested the involvement of others. One of the room's 2 glasses was found in the sink, missing a piece. The other was on the shelf. Detectives found some other items that might have been evidence: a hairpin, safety pin, unsmoked cigarette, and a full bottle of diluted sulfuric acid. 4 fingerprints, small enough that detectives believed they had been a woman's, were found on the room's phone. They could not be matched to Roland, or to any of the hotel employees who had been known to have entered the room. The police sought help through the media. Both of the city's evening newspapers carried the story on their front pages the next day. There is no doubt that someone else is mixed up in this, Detective Johnson told reporters. But no next of kin could be located for Roland and lead to suspicions about his true identity. His body was stored in a local funeral parlor for almost 2 months. The planned burial in the city's Potter's Field was averted when an anonymous donor provided funds for a funeral, and a floral arrangement signed Louise. Roland's true identity remained unknown for a year and a half until Ruby Ogletree, a woman from Alabama, who had seen a photo of a distinctive scar on his head in the news, identified him as her son Artemis. Artemis Ogletree was born in Florida in 1915. He was one of 3 children, and during his childhood, an accident with some hot grease left a sizable scar on his head above his ear, which remained hairless afterward. Artemis had left Birmingham in 1934 at the age of 19 to hitchhike to California. His mother, Ruby, received 2 letters purportedly from him, some from as far away as Egypt. She wired money to him. In August 1935, she also received a call, and the caller claimed to be from Memphis, Tennessee. The man calling told her that Artemis had saved his life in a fight, and that Artemis himself could not call, because he was now living in Cairo, the capital of Egypt, where he had married a wealthy woman and was well. He was unable to write, the caller said, because he had lost one of his thumbs in the fight, where he had saved the caller. She spoke to him for 30 minutes. All the letters had been sent after Artemis's death. Records kept by shipping companies found no records that Artemis had gone to Egypt. No other suspect has ever been identified. The letters later were used to link the killing to a 1937 murder in New York, but no charges were filed against the man arrested in that case, one of whose aliases had been Donald Kelso. The FBI later investigated, but was unable to produce any new leads. Donald Kelso, whose real name was Joseph Martinge, had been arrested for murder after he had killed a man he shared a room with and put the body in a trunk to be shipped to Memphis. According to a story about the case in the New Yorker, the KCPD had matched samples of his handwriting to that of the letters written to Ruby Ogletree.
Hi, you dirty
No charges
rat.
were filed against the man for Roland's case, and the KCPD kept the case open. The files
I'm
show
not-
that different detectives reviewed the case every few years
Not
through the
calling Barbara
1950s.
Smith the dirty
Each time they
rat.
noted that they
Make
would keep
that
the case
clear.
open and follow up,
That's
but no
someone
new
else in
evidence
here,
was uncovered.
Barbara.
Gradually, the case went cold. The absence of suspects in the case has inspired the rise of several theories. There were telephone calls alleging that Roland was killed in retaliation for a broken engagement and that he was having an affair. This led to his former lover taking his life or getting someone else to do the dirty work for her. Organized crime has also been considered, since the name Don can also be a title for a mafia boss. Lastly, it has been suggested that Don, whoever he was, killed Roland for some personal reason, with the help of a commercial woman or lady of the night. Who do you think was the mysterious Don? What do you think happened to Roland, and why? Thank Thank you very much for watching. If you
Wow.
enjoy our content, please like and subscribe for more weekly videos.
Paradoxical Adventure. I should give a shout out to him. And probably that wasn't even allowed. I was thinking it was more like a news kind of thing, but then when I heard the guy's voice and everything, I was like, uh-oh, this is someone else's video. All right, well, that's depressing. That's definitely depressing. I've never heard of that case before. Have you guys heard of that case before? Okay, LOL. Can you imagine, though, if I didn't say that? And you did think I was calling you a dirty rat? I mean, I know you wouldn't think that, but hi, Barbara Smith, you dirty rat. You know? Okay. I'm trying to pull up my history now. Oh, dear. For those of you that came in later, the kittens are just too darn cute playing with their fuzzy balls, leaping and putting them in their mouths and shaking them around. So cute. And I had to take the blanket out for the balls to move around. You know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of what we just heard, that's exactly what I read. The good thing, I guess, is that there was some added detail at the end. So, those mysterious letters sent that he was living in Egypt, that's so bizarre, isn't it? So there's a lot of kids playing out on the playground. I need to close my window. Oh. Okay. Today's the 15th, the middle of, gosh, this is slow. Darn it. Who getting kicked off Turtle Island tonight? Yeah, that's a good question. Those eggs, it could be me. I mean, think about it. If somebody gets an egg and they're like Team Huntress or whatever, it might be me. Because I heard there's some strategizing going on. What's wrong with this thing? Gosh. Lips. It's 97% charged. I've been on an hour. I'll probably do 25 more minutes. Good grief. So, who do you guys think? I never heard of that case, Paper Cut. Me neither. I mean, they're really kind of depressing, you know? Sad, you know? All right, finally I got to my page. All right, so that was Artemis Ogletree. Just sad. So here's number 24, the Shark Arm Murders. Another kind of early-ish one. Hi, Anna. No, Tina, stay all day. Oh, you're so funny. In early 1935, Coogee, 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 probably Coogee Aquarium and swimming baths in Sydney, Australia were floundering. The world was in the middle of the Great Depression, and the aquarium's owner, Bert Hobson, needed something to attract customers. His spirits were lifted when he and his son caught a 14-foot, 1-ton tiger shark off the coast and put it in their pool. What? My nose itches. There had been numerous shark attacks in the area, and Hobson thought it was the perfect thing to save his business. About a week after catching the shark and in front of crowds of families, the shark began to convulse and vomit, spitting up a rat, a bird, and a human arm. What? Hobson called the police, and they fished out the arm, which had a tattoo of 2 boxers fighting, which was located inside the forearm. The shark was killed and the stomach was cut open to look for any other remains, but none were found. Using new fingerprint technology, they were able to identify the arm's original operator to 45-year-old Jimmy Smith, who had been missing since April 7th, 1935. Wow. Early investigations into Smith's disappearance and shark consumption led police to a Sydney businessman named Reginald William Lloyd Holmes. Holmes was a smuggler who also ran a successful family boat building business at Lavender Bay, New South Wales. Holmes had employed Smith several times to work insurance scams, including one in 1934 in which an overinsured pleasure cruiser named Pathfinder was sunk. Shortly afterward, the pair began a partnership with Patrick Francis Brady, an ex-serviceman and convicted forger, with signatures from Holmes' friends and clients provided by the boat tycoon. Brady would forge checks for small amounts against their bank accounts, which he and Smith then cashed. Police were later able to figure out that Smith had been blackmailing Holmes. Sharks can throw up, says Anna with a bunch of question marks. I know. Yeah, the Turtle Island should be 10 or 10:30 Eastern time, your time, Regina. So good 4 hours away. That's what Jimmy said last night, too. On wasn't it panel he said that, or did he say that on the PJ Dolly show? Smith was last seen drinking and playing cards with Patrick Francis Brady at the Cecil Hotel in southern Sydney after telling his wife he was going fishing. Brady had rented a small cottage at the time Smith went missing. Police allege that Smith was murdered at this cottage. Port Hacking and Gunamata Bay were searched by the Australian Navy and the Air Force, but the rest of Smith's body was never found. Wow. Unreal. Hmm. In 1587, English colonial governor John White led a group of people from Britain to found an English colony. Is it Roanoke or Roanoke? Okay, well, um, one of a chain of barrier islands, which is now known as the Outer Banks near North Carolina. Becky would know if she's still in chat. When rations were running low, White left for more supplies. When he returned 3 years later, he found the colony carefully abandoned, with all houses and military constructions dismantled with care. Before he had left the colony, White had instructed his people that if they were taken by force, someone was to carve a cross into a nearby tree, but there was no cross nor sign they had been brutally taken over. The only clue was the word Crow. It's not Croatian, it's Croatan. Croatoan, I don't know. Croton, the name of a Native American tribe that allied with the English colonists. Could be Croatoan, I don't know, which was carved into a post. White took this to mean that the colonists had moved to Croatoan Island. Ongoing investigations have claimed that the colonists had been slaughtered by the Powhatan tribe, but there is no archaeological evidence to support this, and a recent re-examination indicates that any massacre that occurred was not of this particular group of colonists, but rather a group of colonists who had arrived earlier. More theories involve an amalgamation between the colonists and the Croatians, but so far no DNA evidence has identified any descendants of the colony. Weird. No, Tina likes her men tall. Where did that come about? I used to. That was like the first thing I noticed. But my ex Darren of almost 8 years, he was not tall. He wasn't short, but he wasn't tall. Shaylin's father's tall, 6'1". My dad, who's passed away, was 6'3". My daughter's very tall. Very tall. Oh, you guys. Okay, I'm going to go 10 more minutes. The disappearance of Dorothy Arnold. Dorothy Harriet Camille Arnold was a wealthy New York socialite, the daughter of perfume importer Francis Rose Arnold and his wife Mary Martha Parks Arnold. As far as anyone knew, she had a happy home life. Perfume importer, the daughter of a perfume importer. On the morning of December 12, 1910. Oh, okay, 9:30 Eastern. Okay, it's posted. Quit yawning, doll. I can't help it. I had 5 hours sleep, but the night before I went to bed at 9 p.m. 9. It felt like 11 or 12 to me, and I just, whoa. Tina, this guy is 6 foot. Who? What guy? A story I was reading back ago, and now I don't even remember what I was reading about because I'm all over the place. Okay, so on the morning of December 12, 1910, she left her home on the Upper East Side of Manhattan and told her mother that she was headed downtown to buy an evening dress. According to the New York Times, when her mother asked if she could accompany her daughter, Dorothy said, "No, when I find the gown I want, I will telephone you and you can come down and see it." When she left the house, she had over $30 in her pocket. In today's currency, that would be more than $750. On her way down Fifth Avenue, she stopped at a grocery store on 59th Street to buy some chocolate, then at a bookstore on 27th Street where she bought a copy of Engaged Girls Sketches, a humorous collection of short romantic stories. Around the time when she bought the book, she ran into a friend from college, Gladys King. The two talked about a party that they had both been invited to, the same party that Dorothy was buying a dress for. Gladys left to meet her mother for lunch, and Dorothy was never seen again. Well, I wonder if Gladys has anything to do with it. I doubt. You're happily single. You're a widow, Regina, but okay, like, you're engaged, aren't you? You're engaged, I thought. You told me that on Messenger. I probably shouldn't have thrown your stuff out there, but you've let many people know. Maybe that maybe that fizzled or something. If it did, I'm sorry. Unless you wanted it to. Okay, so Francis Arnold was reluctant to gain publicity over his daughter's disappearance and initially employed the help of private investigators. After those attempts were unsuccessful, the family filed a missing person report with the New York City Police Department in January 1911. Wow, you guys, like a whole year later nearly. Various theories, sightings, and rumors regarding Arnold's disappearance circulated in the years and decades after she was last seen, but the circumstances surrounding her disappearance have never been resolved, and her fate remains unknown. Was she pretty young? Was she in her 20s? I don't remember what I read about her. It doesn't say. It just says the daughter of a perfume importer, Francis Arnold, and the wife of. It sounds like she was maybe, 19 or 22, or maybe she was 30. Could have been in her young 30s, I guess. That's sad. I want to see if there's a picture of her. Dorothy Harriet Camille. Camille Arnold missing. Oh, there is a picture of her, you guys. She looks like she's young 20s. Oh, Christmas wedding got called off, says Regina. There she is. Some believe she was pregnant with Griscom's baby. Gee, maybe she was. Wow. Yeah. Tony, are you still even in here telling me to go all day? Your brother found love of his life at age 60, Team Rose. Barbara, you're 72. Oh, wow. Rip. What did Suzanne Summers die from, you guys? Well, I can look it up, but does anyone want to put it in there? Breast cancer. She succumbed to that? She was in remission for what, 10 years or more? Oh, man. Oh, wow. Really, Regina? He was in lust, not in love. Wow. Lust could turn to love, no? I mean, I don't know. Oh, dear. I don't see Tony in here. Um, oh, I'm actually enjoying these because they're like older ones, you know what I mean? Like stories I've never heard, stuff like that. Okay, so that's sad. Okay, so now there's like organized crime one. This Bugsby, but I mean Bugsy, Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, the murder of Bugsy Siegel. Have a lot of you already heard about that? I haven't. I used to watch, what was that show called again? The mob women, the mob, Married to the Mob. That's it. Married to the Mob. I used to watch that. I found it really interesting. And those women, they would kick ass, you guys. Remember those shows? They would literally, I mean, they'd have cameras going and they would pull hair and jump over tables and just, they weren't afraid of anything or anybody. And even like the younger petite ones, all, you know, dressed up and stuff, they weren't scared either of anything or anybody, it seemed like. All right. Um I don't think I want to read about this. Most people know about it. It's just kind of more mob stuff. All right, the Jameson family disappearance. On October 8, 2009, the Jameson family, 44-year-old Bobby Dale, 40-year-old Sherilyn Leanne, and their 6-year-old daughter, Madison Stormy Starr, were seen for the last time before vanishing without a trace. The family lived in Eufaula, Oklahoma, and was last seen by a man who lived in the mountains in southeastern Oklahoma. However, the witness claimed that he only saw the family and no one else in that area during the time. Oh, I remember this story. You guys remember this story? The Jameson family disappearance. I just didn't know it was clear back in 2009. All right, anyway, the Jamesons were there to view a 40-acre plot of land that they were looking to purchase. They were looking to live in a shipping container that they had already been living in on their plot of land in Eufaula. So they were going to live in a shipping container out on this land. Love that show, FGTEEV, Mob's Wife. I watched on Bravo. Yes, I saw all of them. I saw where, was her name Diane with the long dark hair, was trying to come back into people's lives, and they'd be sipping on a boat or a who knows where, and they didn't care who was around. Oh my God. I think I'm going to watch some reruns of that stuff. That's so funny. Dirty Rat says lust is fun. Lust is fun. Lust can be fun. All right. Okay, so they were looking to live in a shipping container that they had already been living in on their plot of land in Eufaula. Eufaula, Oklahoma. Maybe it's Eufaula. I don't know. On October 16, 8 days after the Jamesons were last seen alive, the first major discovery in the case occurred. Hunters in a remote location in the woods about a quarter-mile away from the last spot the Jamesons were seen discovered the Jamesons' abandoned truck. The dog was still in the truck. Let's see if I'm remembering the right one, which was still locked. Inside the truck, investigators found Bobby's wallet, Sherilyn's purse, jackets, a GPS, Bobby's cell phone, and listen to this, you guys, $32,000 cash in a bank bag, and the Jamesons' pet dog. Is that just the weirdest, you guys? All that money? Okay, it was locked inside of the truck. I mean, you would think the person that would kill him would break into the truck and get the money, but then, of course, it doesn't necessarily mean that they knew there was money. They couldn't have, because if they had known, wouldn't they have taken the money? Oh, are you not feeling as well lately, Tony? Because I know you're dealing with things, right? Prayers, Tony. Oh gosh. And the Jamesons' pet dog, Macy, who is incredibly malnourished but still alive. Bobby's cell phone had a picture of Madison, and it is believed to have been taken the day before they disappeared. Well, I heard that picture was taken the day they were being offed, because she's blonde. Not, that matters. 6-year-old little blonde girl, and she had a look of like on her face, unless that's a different picture. Have you guys heard this story? The Jameson family, Jamison, Jameson family. Okay, the truck showed no evidence of any kind of struggle. Former Sheriff Beauchamp remarked, I think they were forced to stop and got out of the truck to meet with someone they recognized, and I think they either left willingly or by force. The GPS unit in the truck indicated that the family had been farther up a nearby hill prior to the location where the truck and belongings were found. Investigators followed the coordinates and found footprints. One day later, on October 17, 300 people, including authorities and volunteers, staged a large-scale air and ground search party, but unfortunately any leads went cold and the search for the Jamesons was called off. Yeah, I thought they found them buried eventually, but I'll keep reading. On November 16, 2013, so we're looking at 4 years later, hunters were scouting for deer hunting locations when they found partial skeletal remains of 3 bodies, 2 adults and 1 child. The remains were found less than 3 miles from where the Jameson family had parked their truck 4 years earlier. The search uncovered shoes, bits of clothing, adult teeth, an adult arm and leg bone, and bone fragments. The bones would eventually be confirmed as the missing Jameson family. However, no cause of death was determined, and the circumstances surrounding their disappearance remain unknown. I think honestly, you guys, I think I even saw footage of them leaving that day very hurriedly. Just the husband and wife were barely talking to each other. They were just bringing stuff into their truck. They left hurriedly, like they were scared, sort of. I'm pretty sure it's the same story. All right. Well, tomorrow, providing I can get on here and others aren't on and things like that, I will do the mystery of Overton Bridge. We'll start there. We're on number 30. Not Death Rows, where I'm going. Tina, I've not heard this story. Yeah, I am afraid to die, you guys. I'm afraid. I don't. I mean, if I was older and kind of maybe not sickly, but older, and my children were like taken care of and knew, I don't know, and they were older and they knew what was, that they were okay, it'd be different. But she'd have to go with her dad. She doesn't want to live with him necessarily. The foster family she lived with for 3 months in 2011 would take her in just like that in a heartbeat. She has their phone number. You never know. And my son would, well, I probably better not say it. He's got issues with alcohol, in case he ever sees my channel. So yeah. All right, you guys. An hour and 33 minutes and 49 seconds. So I'm going to go over and listen to some music on Tattooed Rebel 2229. It'd be lovely if you joined me. And he's playing music from a band called, what again? Patriotic something. And now I can't remember. It's way up here somewhere. Patriotic. Oh, is that it? Oh. Rebel said, Tina, where I started painting, I painted a picture and I thought you would like it. I can't afford to buy it though. I mean, I just can't. And in January, I've got to take my money from my trust fund and get the kittens dewormed and have little, Patriotic 1, 0NE. All right, you guys. Thank you. Kittens were playing real cute with these little fuzzy balls. If you missed the beginning, thank you for coming over, everybody. I love you guys so much. Really good to see every single one of you. And I should be here sometime tomorrow. All right. Love you guys. Mwah. Thank you for coming to I Just Don't Give a Sip. I always laugh after I say that. All right, you guys. Oh, I had 756 subscribers. Well, this morning. So my goal is 800. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit the like. Thanks, you guys. See you tonight on Turtle Island. If I start getting like massively like kickoff PCT, kickoff PCT, kickoff PCT, hopefully some of you will call in and save me. I'd like to be on the island at least 2 weeks. That would be nice. Do I think I'm going to win? No. But anyway. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.